Hi guys. Hey. Whew. Well, I'm knackered. I don't know about you. But what I wanted to talk to you about this week is raw therapy. Yes. And I'm not going to make this an overly long video. I'm just going to give you the bare bones of something that's in the dev build for Mac and Windows and Linux. So, I've mentioned it before. You ought to go and download these development builds and work with those until the new public release comes out. When that's going to be, I do not know, so don't ask me. But in particular, what I wanted to talk about this week was noise reduction, because it's a topic that keeps cropping up. God, it's like a really bad itch. It won't go away. Oh, I wish it would. Noise reduction. And I did some videos last year showing you the local adjustments, and there's a new thing on local adjustments, and we can also run denoise on local adjustments inside the, as I said, the dev builds, etc. for Raw Therapee. And so what I wanted to just discuss was that, and just show you very briefly a very, very, very bare bones demonstration of the capability that you're going to have inside of Raw Therapee. So we've got this rather crappy image of an eagle here. Let's just go and put it out in a fit to screen view. And of course, members over on my Patreon will actually be able to go and download this raw file. They should actually already have it because it was used in another video lesson, but I'll still put it up for re-download. So there we go. Anyway, I'm waffling on. So we've got this whitetail sea eagle here. Now, if we look at the tech specs of it, it was shot on the venerable old Canon 1DX. That's the Mark 1 version. We're using a 200-400 f4. f7.1, 8,000th of a second, ISO 10,000, with basically 0.67, which is basically 2/3 of a stop of positive exposure compensation. Now, do not forget that ISO does not change the sensitivity of your sensor, and anybody who thinks differently needs to start thinking about it properly, and anybody who tells you differently is an arsehole and an idiot. Yes. I'd better cut the arsehole bit out, hadn't I? Yeah. So they're an idiot. Yeah. Will I cut it out? Who knows? But, yeah, they are an idiot, so don't listen to them. All it is underexposure. And I forget whether the 1DX Mark 1 sensor was base ISO 100 or base ISO 200, I forget now. But, at 10,000 ISO, we are fundamentally underexposing the image by 5.5 to 6 stops. So, if I switch this back to no processing, now you can see it's dark. And if we look at the histogram, we can see everything's crowded over here on the left-hand side of said histogram, and the image is fundamentally underexposed. Yeah, and that's with 2/3 of a stop of positive exposure compensation dialed in. So, it is what it is. And the thing is, when you shoot at IISO, you record less detail in the shot. It's just one of those things. You can't get away from it. Doesn't matter if your camera's 10 days old, 10 weeks old, 10 months old, or 10 years old. You just can't get away from it. You get less high frequency detail in your shots, fundamentally because you're underexposing when you shoot at IISO, and you've got a really crappy signal to noise ratio. So there you go. It's just one of those things. So I've re-zeroed this image out. And of course, before I can show you the noise reduction, we've got to go and get the image looking right, haven't we? So I'm just going to come and stick not that much, probably about 1.5 stops, maybe a little bit more of exposure compensation in. Fundamentally, so the image sort of looks as bright as it needs to look. There's no secret to it at all. As to you for increasing the brightness of an image, you just increase it till it looks right. So what I'm going to do now is switch out to this new waveform. I forget what you call it now. RGB parade. Yes, the RGB parade histogram, and we can see that the red channel is slightly lower than the green channel, and the blue channel is quite a lot higher. So what we've got is we've got a green, a red blue, I should say, imbalance. So first thing I'm going to do is try and sort the white balance out, and it is really, really simple. Red blue, that's controlled on this slider here. So if I move this slider more towards red, the red part of the RGB parade will move up and the blue part will, funnily enough, move down. So what we'll do is we'll keep nudging it across until they are sort of in line with the green. And we're nearly there. That's not looking too bad at all. Maybe just push it a little bit further. Yeah, and so everything's pretty much in a row there between red, green and blue. That's why I said when I did the video on the RGB parade and the waveform, etc., inside the dev version of Raw Therapee, I was so excited because it just makes stuff so much easier. Anyway, right. So we'll count this as white balanced, right? And the exposure has been brought up to an acceptable level. So let's go and view the image at 100%. And it's sharp where it needs to be. But we haven't got a lot of depth of field on the bird. Yeah, it was shot at 325mm, but this is uncropped and the bird's just really, really close. Really close. A little bit too close for my liking. I would have preferred him about 6 or 7 metres further away, and we would have got considerably more depth of field. Of course, I could have zoomed out a little bit more, couldn't I? But well, there you go. We can't be perfect all the time. Me perfect. No. Right. So, what else do I want to do? I'm just going to come into the colour toning and colour correction regions because, as we all know, I love the colour correction regions. And the colour correction region that I'm going to dial into is the yellowy green area. So I'm just going to pull up, do we want to go hue? Let's just go show mask. Let's pull out the blues. Yeah, is that going to work? Because what I'm trying to do is get rid of the C. Probably won't do that one. Oh, I don't know, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. No, I think I'll go on chroma instead. So let's go here and we'll switch that out to equalizer. And let's just see what happens if we bring this down here. Yeah, we're starting to pull out the eagle there. I don't know. Is this going to work? Is it going to work? Nah, I think we'd be better off on hue, actually. So let's go back to hue. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make the reds yellow and the C fairly there we go, that'll do. Right, so I'm now going to hide the mask. Well, I'm going to blur the mask a little bit, I think. Yeah, and then we're going to uncheck show mask, and then all I'm going to do is just lift up the slope a little bit. So now you can see that's just lifted the brightness of the bird and left the C sort of pretty much where it needs to be. Offset, let's just take that negative, and that's just made the darker regions of the bird go a little bit darker, and then maybe we can thump a little bit of extra contrast in there just by increasing the power just a little bit. I'm just going to take that offset back out, just minimal, and I think that looks pretty much all right. I might just inch that offset back a little bit more and bring the saturation down a wee tiny tad, and that for me will do for the purposes of this demonstration. So I've done that, so processing is pretty much done, apart from what I wanted to talk to you about now, which is under local adjustments. So we'll go and turn on local adjustments, and we're going to add a new local adjustment spot. Now, just to refresh your memory about these spots. Okay, so this red oval with 4 points on it, of which you can only see 3 because I've just shifted one off over here. This is the defining area of the spot, all right? And the circle in the middle defines the actual colour and tones which are going to be affected by the adjustments that you're going to apply or attach to this spot. So these, or this line here, governed by the dots, yeah, are the area of effect of the local adjustment, and the circle in the middle defines what it is within that area which is going to be affected. Now then, I've already done a video, link somewhere, about normal spots and excluding spots, but now we have this other type of spot which is full image. Oh, so now then, here's the kicker. Wherever we put this center defining circle, whatever tool we apply, the effect of that tool is going to apply to all the colours and tones underneath that circle, but across the entirety of the image in equal amount. Alrighty. Now this can be mighty useful. So what I'm going to do is just go show additional settings, which brings up the spot size amongst other things, and it enables me to make the spot a wee bit bigger. Alrighty, so the tonality of the sea, let's go for the darkest tone and the lightest tone that we can see, and let's sort of make that line there which defines dark and light. Let's sort of make it bisect this circle. So what are we going to do now? We're going to go to add tool to current spot, and we're going to come down to blur grain and denoise. Yeah, and you can see that little number that was at the side there, add tool to current spot. This sort of gives you an idea of, I'm fairly certain, whereabouts in the processing pipeline, at what stage in the processing pipeline the particular adjustment takes place. I might be 100% wrong there, but you know, I don't know everything, no. Oh Christ, certainly not. But anyway, so we've got blur, grain and denoise. Well, I don't want to add blur and I don't want to add noise, but what I do want to do is I want to add denoise. So I'm going to keep this really simple, and I'm going to go mode, and I'm going to go conservative. Yeah, and whoopsie daisy, look at the noise reduction that's happened in the sea, but you'll notice it's not happened in the bird, because the bird is of a completely different luminosity, and more importantly, it is at a different end of the colour spectrum than the colour of the sea. this is sort of neutral blue-grey, and the body is definitely in the yellow to red end of the spectrum, so we can differentiate sort of on delta E, if you like, and just by using the default differentiation, that's worked out quite well. Now, here's the other thing. Hey, this is where things get really, really sexy. I can add another spot by clicking add, and I'm going to switch this out to whole image again, or full image, and then I'm going to move this spot into this area here, which is showing quite a lot of noise. Let's zoom in, and you can see a lot of these speckles, not all of them, but a lot of them are actually impulse noise. So quite a common thing on ISO images. So I'm just going to come over to the details tab just for a moment, and we're just going to hit the default impulse noise reduction, and there you can see it's getting rid of quite a few of those noisy speckles. So we're going to come back to local adjustments, and this, I'm just going to put that circle around about there, and so the colour and tone that is sitting within this circle are going to be affected by the adjustment I'm going to add across the entirety of the image, rather like what we've just done in the sea. So we are going to go to, where are we? Where's it gone? There it is. Blur grain and denoise. We're going to come to denoise again, and I'll just go and put this on conservative, and whoop-de-doo, yes. We've now added denoise to that area of the image, but we haven't got any overspill from that denoising over onto the water, so we've not denoised the water twice. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. So what we're doing is we're dialing in and controlling the noise in different areas simply based on tone and colour. And of course, we don't have to apply that level of noise reduction there. We can say, right, we'll come into the wavelet distribution panel, and we could say we'll turn the noise reduction down, and there you can see we've sort of turned it down a little bit. But if I go and turn local adjustments off, you can see that we have turned it down somewhat. Alrighty. So there's lots and lots of other ways in which we can control the distribution of noise within these local adjustment spots. I mean, goodness gracious me, we can change the scope of the spot, which fundamentally says what colours we can affect and not affect underneath the same spot. Or we can change the old scope colour tools of the spot itself. We can, I mean, gee whiz, it's crackers, because if we go show additional settings, we've actually got transition gradients, we've even got shape detection, and if we come right down to the bottom, we can control again based on colour, and really and truly it just goes on, because not only that, but we've got an entire mask and modifications panel going on here. So not only can we control it based on colour and tone, we can also then apply a mask to further control the distribution of said noise reduction within this local adjustment spot. But I said I was going to keep this video quick and short, and so for me to demonstrate all that, it would take forever. But we will pick away at it in future videos. But all I wanted to do was sort of whet your appetite for what is going to be possible in the next version of Raw Therapee, where we can fundamentally put noise reduction a little bit like The old U-point technology, I mentioned U-point technology, and has been similar to local adjustment spots before, but we can actually use it to place the effect of different tools, including denoise, in different areas. So we can do custom denoise in particular areas without it being constrained as it would be in, say, Lightroom to a little oval or circular area, which is fundamentally how it used to be in Raw Therapee, or it used to be in the original dev build of Raw Therapee. This new mode I find really, really useful. This new mode for spot method, full image. Yeah, really, really useful. And for goodness sake, go and download and install the latest dev builds of Raw Therapee. You can do it if you're on a Windows machine. You can do it on a Mac machine. Just have a play around with your own images, because it really, really is very, very good. Okay, guys, so let's just bring him up there. I think he looks all right, considering it's a fairly crappy image in the first place, but he certainly looks a lot more acceptable than he did before we started doing any processing. Yeah, all right, guys and gals, that's it for now. Hope you've got something useful out of that. Go and have a play, and until the next time, stay safe, stay well, keep taking the pictures, and yeah, cheerio.